Arirang Special.
Pianist Van Cliburn. Pianist Mikhail Pletnev. Violinist Viktor Tretyakov. Violinist Gideon Kremer, who revolutionized violin playing. Russian genius pianist Andrei Gavrilov. All these people have two things in common. One is that their musical talents are globally recognized. The other is that they are all winners of the Tchaikovsky International Competition, which has a history of more than 50 years. The Tchaikovsky competition is recognized to the extent that there is a saying that all musicians must start their careers in Russia. The Tchaikovsky International Competition 2015 was also a great journey that carried on the tradition of unearthing great masters. Moscow, the capital of Russia. It has grown rapidly into a political, cultural, economic, and transportation hub. It has been the capital of the Russian Federation since 1991, and it's one of the largest cities in the world. The Red Square is a symbol of the vast Russian Federation. It is a famous site that draws scores of people year-round. It's home to the Kremlin, which has witnessed Russian history for many centuries, as well as the State Historical Museum, Lenin's Mausoleum, and the beautiful St. Basil's Cathedral. A 30-minute walk from the Red Square will bring you to Arbat Street, a haven of culture and arts, and the heart of Russia where anyone can discover the charm of art. In the past, this street was frequented by such great writers as Alexander Pushkin and Nikolai Gogol, but nowadays it's a venue for young artists. Once in every 4 years, June is the month when everyone thinks about Tchaikovsky. It's because the International Tchaikovsky Competition is held.
(1958년) 이곳 모스크바 차이코프스키 음악원 콘서트홀에서는 역사적인 일이 일어나게 됩니다. 바로 제1회 차이코프스키 국제 콩쿠르가 이곳에서 펼쳐졌던 것이죠. 전 소련을 대표하는 최고의 아티스트들이 모두 모여들었고 서방 세계의 젊은 아티스트들도 모두 참여했는데요. 스비아토슬라프 리흐터와 같은 명 피아니스트 그리고 당 서기장이었던 호르시초프가 참관한 가운데 콩쿠르가 열렸습니다.
The Moscow State Conservatory was founded by the 19th century pianist and composer Nikolai Rubinstein. Tchaikovsky once served there as a professor at this renowned place that has produced world-famous musicians. Its walls are adorned with the photos of prominent musicians whose names are associated with the Tchaikovsky competition. A few days before the 15th competition, the rehearsal rooms of the Moscow State Conservatory are always open to contestants. One of the promising contestants in the voice category is Yu Han-sung.
제가 이제 극장에 소속이 돼 있다 보니까 극장 측에서 이제 미리 1년 전에 나왔던 그런 스케줄들을 조정하는 데 있어서 조금 어려움을 겪었는데 다행히 극장장님과 잘 얘기가 돼서 참가할 수 있게 됐습니다.
특히 바이올리니스트는 차이코프스키 협주곡이 만약에 없었더라면 뭐 물론 다른 차이코프스키의 다른 소품들이나 그런 것도 바이올린에게는 너무 중요한 레퍼토리고 좋은 기회라고 생각했고 좋은 기회인 만큼 열심히 하겠습니다.
The Tchaikovsky competition of 2015 introduced a few changes. Instead of evaluating contestants based on points, the decision to eliminate contestants was made through voting, and auditions were added to the evaluation process. Auditions were introduced because only vivid performances can give a clear impression of a musician. Some of the contestants were dumbfounded by such an unprecedented method.
제가 원래 첫날 해야 되는데 그게 취소가 됐어요. 갑자기 연주 직전에 반주자가 아프다고 그냥 집에 간 거예요. 제가 이제 지금 슈만인데 슈만은 못하니까 너희들 잘못이니까 난 솔로 하겠다 했더니 심사위원들께서 제 슈만을 굉장히 듣기 원하신다고 해서 다음날 다시 스케줄을 줘서 아침에 당일날 잠깐 리허설을 새로운 피아니스트랑 하고 오후에 바로 들어갔어요. 전 너무 많이 걱정돼갖고.
정말 대단한 사람들이고 나온 정말 영광이고 이렇게 같이 제가 한 무대에 서는 게 너무 영광이고 그래서 뭐 합격한다면 좋겠지만 그냥 저는 정말 아무렇지도 않게 잘 갈 수 있을 것 같아요.
러시아 사람들이 노래를 잘하는 건 원래 알고 있었는데 이 정도일 줄은 몰랐어요. 작년에도 마리아 칼라스에도 갔었거든요. 그래서 나는 상도 탔는데 이 정도 수준은 아니었어요. 그래서 제가 상을 탄 것 같아요.
А также Юджин Джан, Клара Джули Кам, Бомсори Ким, Jiwon Kim.
Many Korean violinists made the cut into the first round after passing auditions. Among them are Jang Yoo-jin, Clara Jumi Kang, and Kim Bom-sori.
She's next. Jumi Kang. 13. Number 15. Song Min Kang.
After a gruesome process, among approximately 600 contestants, about 100 were selected for the first qualifying round. Piano and violin competitions were to be held in Moscow, while cello and voice competitions were to take place in St. Petersburg.
So it was very, very, very good, and I was very happy to hear wonderful performances and to discover some young talents, wonderful young talents as well. Extremely, extremely high. It will be one of the toughest competitions. I think there are, to my mind, already 5 or 6 winners for the first prize, and maybe some people will start to play very well, you know, on the first round and second. So it will be very difficult.
On the day of the final audition, the competition finally begins, drawing the attention of the entire country.
По классу скрипки, естественно, для меня это очень интересно посещать такие мероприятия, смотреть, как продолжается искусство, кто его продолжатели. Это безумно интересно.
Это первый мой конкурс Чайковского, и я очень рада здесь побывать. Это настоящее событие в мире музыки, поэтому я очень рада, что попала сюда.
Many people, including Valery Gergiev, the co-chair of the organizing committee, have preserved the tradition of the Tchaikovsky competition for nearly 60 years. Music fans are excited to see the big stars of classical music in one place. The International Tchaikovsky Competition has been held every 4 years since 1958. To Russians, it's a big event, tantamount to the Olympic Games. Finally, the 15th Tchaikovsky competition begins. The eyes of the whole world are on this important event in the world of classical music.
И мы к нему очень серьезно готовились.
Исполняет Большой симфонический оркестр имени Чайковского дирижер Владимир Федосеев.
Performances by young talented musicians underscore the power of Russian music and the Tchaikovsky competition.
Я мечтаю очень выступить на самом конкурсе Чайковского. Чтобы выступить на нем, надо очень много готовиться, много лет, поэтому уже надо сейчас.
Правильно, концерт, исполнение с великими знаменитыми оркестрами, с дирижерами. И поэтому, конечно, это очень большое будущее ждет, ну, особенно победителей этого конкурса. Вот. Должен сказать, что вот эти конкурсы, они раньше давали возможность выступать на Западе, да, в Европе, в Америке, в Корее. Вот. Сейчас очень много фестивалей и концертов у нас тоже в России, и поэтому и здесь теперь можно сделать карьеру хорошую.
The highlight of the opening concert is the enrapturing performance by Daniil Trifonov, the winner of the Tchaikovsky competition in 2011. Who will follow in his footsteps to win the 2015 competition?
15-й международный конкурс имени Петра Ильича Чайковского объявляется открытым.
An 18-day journey toward a new future has begun here, under the watchful eye of great Russian composer Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky. The opening of the competition underscored the beauty of Moscow evenings. The entire city was filled with the passion of musicians. While Korea has many movie theaters, in Moscow, it's easy to see many big and small performance venues. The famous Bolshoi Theater is crowded with spectators late in the evening. This is where legendary composers like Tchaikovsky, Rachmaninoff, and Rubinstein conducted orchestras. This place became famous after Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake was successfully staged here in 1877. Rich orchestral sounds and a thrillingly vibrant and overwhelmingly delightful finale. Tchaikovsky's music always moves people's hearts. It is like a catharsis that helps people to release their emotions. Tchaikovsky's music represents Russia.
Ну, Чайковский в этом слове, наверное, вся Россия, потому что музыка Чайковского настолько разнообразна, настолько полна чувств, которые переживают люди. Она вдохновляет людей на различные дела. Кроме того, Чайковский, он работал практически во всех жанрах. То есть он писал и оперы, и балеты, и симфонии, и романсы, и многие другие произведения. И, конечно, в этом тоже сказывается вот вся ширь, все могущество, наверное, все величие нашей страны.
Tchaikovsky was a very emotionally sensitive child. His only friend was his piano. His father wanted him to become a lawyer, but nothing could stop his extraordinary talent. In 1862, Tchaikovsky enrolled in the St. Petersburg State Conservatory, where his musical career began.
당시에 이제 서유럽의 어떤 발전된 음악어법이라든지 세련미를 러시아적인 정서와 결합을 해서 자신만의 어떤 새로운 러시아 음악의 길을 개척을 했었던 그러한 중요한 작곡가라고 말할 수 있겠습니다. 유럽이나 아메리카, 동양에서도 차이콥스키 음악이 거의 베토벤이라든지 모차르트 같은 이 고전파 작곡가들의 어떤 명성이라든지 인기도에 필적할 만한 그러한 아주 세계적인 작곡가로 인정받고 있습니다.
It was a very tumultuous period in Russian history, with numerous musicians rising and falling. After Stalin's reign of terror ended and Khrushchev took power, an era of freedom began in Russia. His loose policies helped many talented musicians see the light of day. One of them was Dmitri Shostakovich.
Петр Ильич Чайковский.
In the spring of 1958, the first Tchaikovsky competition was organized by the former Soviet Union with the goal to unearth talented artists.
Собрались министр культуры СССР Михайлов Сергей.
That is when the extraordinary history of the Tchaikovsky competition began. Even though the first competition featured Russian jury members and the best students of the Moscow State Conservatory, the first prize in the piano category went to Van Cliburn from Texas, USA.
당시 그 차이콥스키 콩쿠르의 모든 심사위원들이 만장일치로 반 클라이번에게 1등을 주었습니다. 이게 어떻게 보면 굉장히 좀 역설적이죠. 오히려 그 점 때문에 차이콥스키 콩쿠르이 서방 세계에 더 유명하게 된 아주 결정적인 계기가 되기도 했습니다.
The disgraced former Soviet Union forced pianist Vladimir Ashkenazy to compete in the second competition in hopes to win it. Ashkenazy tied for the first place with John Ogden from the UK. Koreans developed an interest in the Tchaikovsky competition in 1974, when young Korean pianist of U.S. nationality Chung Myung-hwan finished second in the piano category, creating a sensation in the Korean music sector.
정치적으로 한국 사람으로서 그렇게 탑 프라이즈 받기가 정말 힘든 시절이 있었어요. 그래서 이제 그때 연주 들은 사람들은 정말 1등이라고 그러더라고요. 그래서 2등이 1등이다 그때 벌써 그랬지만 등수보다도 거기 가서 그렇게 아주 기가 막히게 마음으로 전달할 수 있는 연주를 했다고 다들 나중에 몇 년 후에도 계속들 그 말이 와요.
The entire nation of Korea celebrated his feat with a car parade. "16 years later, another Korean name made the headlines at the Tchaikovsky competition. It was baritone Hans Che. He says he still vividly remembers the emotions he felt that day he won first prize.
심사위원의 표정을 봤어요. 각 나라 노래를 여러 나라 부르는. 근데 너무나 행복해하는 표정이었어요. 흡족하고. 그래서 왜냐하면 저는 사실 이탈리아에서 이탈리아 노래만 주로 부르고 그랬는데 거기 가서 프랑스 노래를 부르고 독일어 노래를 부르고 영어 이러고 하다 보니까 이거는 굉장히 다행인 거죠. 이제 좋아하는 그 모습을 봤을 때 네가 우리 콩쿠르에 와줘서 정말로 우리는 영광이다. 네가 콩쿠르의 레벨을 정말 올려줬다. 평생 한 번도 그런 레벨로 들은 적이 없다고. 그러면서 자기도 그렇게 되기를 노력하는데 아직도 해결을 못하고 있다. 그러면서 정말 축하한다 그런 얘기도 하고.
Although he entered as an American national, he became the first Korean to win the international Tchaikovsky competition. Four years later, one more Korean artist stole the spotlight. It was Paek Hye-sung, a Korean national who won third prize in the piano category, which was a high barrier for Koreans.
엄청 정말 살벌하고 굉장히 무서웠고 차가운 냉정한 그런 콩쿠르였거든요. 그래서 뭐 스포츠나 다름없이 그렇게 했었어요. 근데 이제 결선에 올라가서 제가 제일 마지막 번호였는데 그 홀이 그레이트 홀이 완전히 꽉 찬 데서 연주를 했는데 연주가 끝나고 나서 사람들이 3, 3, 5 박수를 이렇게 막 치면서 앙콜 하라고 그러면서 그 박수가 나왔을 때는 그 감격은 그 광경을 본 사람만이 아는 것 같아요.
There was no first prize winner. Paek's achievement was greater than a prize because it demonstrated the rising status of Korean artists.
Ну, как для любого музыканта, любого ставшего лауреатом конкурса Чайковского, это, конечно, огромная победа, это огромный подъем по лестнице, ведущей в лучшие концертные залы и на большую эстраду. И, конечно, это огромная ответственность стать лауреатом конкурса Чайковского, и потом надо это звание удерживать, поддерживать его.
In 2007, dramatic changes were introduced at the competition. The organizing committee began to provide support to competition laureates with their concerts anywhere in the world, while evaluations, which were previously held behind closed doors, became public. Moreover, the entire competition process was broadcast on the internet.
И среди многих конкурсов, которые сейчас существуют, этот конкурс уникален, потому что он имеет статус государственного. Он создал музыкальную элиту, и он создал педагогические кадры, которые многие лауреаты работают в разных странах, и таким образом воспитывают новых музыкантов. Вот такое большое влияние имеет конкурс Чайковского на музыкальный мир.
The Tchaikovsky competition has had an enormous influence on the global music sector over the past 50 years. To the Korean classical music sector, the 2011 competition was especially meaningful. 5 Koreans, including pianists Cho Sung-jin and Sun Yeorum, made the cut into the main competition. Korean contestants won the men's and women's competition in the voice category, prompting many to call this day Korea Day.
이 성악에서 제일 중요한 게 이제 가사 전달인데 그 말로 그 사람들에게 알아들을 수 있게 그리고 내 감정대로 다 표현할 수 있도록 노력하면 되는구나, 맞는 거구나, 그거를 느끼게 했어요.
So Sun-young says the fact that she had received recognition from the jury, which was comprised of many world-renowned opera singers, unlike other competitions, made her the happiest.
최근에는 완전히 그런 매니지먼트를 내지는 오페라 하우스에 계신 디렉터 분들만 심사를 하시는 그런 콩쿠르도 있는데 차이콥스키 같은 경우에는 순수 성악가들만 이제 심사위원으로 계셨기 때문에 정말 노래 하나만 보고 심사를 하셨던 특이한 경우죠.
As always, the spotlight of the 2011 competition was on the piano category. Pianist Sun Yeorum displayed her talent to the fullest.
사실은 차이콥스키 콩쿠르 이후로는 러시아 올 때마다 굉장히 감회가 남다르고 너무 좀 각별하게 느끼는 그런 곳이 됐어요, 러시아가.
네.
그래서 올 때마다 너무 즐겁고 청중들도 되게 반겨주시고 또 청중들도 차이콥스키 콩쿠르 하면 되게 너무 좋게 생각해 주시니까 그것도 너무 좋고 또 특히 오늘 같이 연주했던 지휘자 선생님, 알렉산더 드미트리에프 선생님이 제가 차이콥스키 콩쿠르 할 때 파이널 결선에서 이제 지휘를 해주셨던 선생님이어서 그때도 서로 너무 좋았고 또 항상 제가 이번에 또 콩쿠르 이후로 2번째 하는 건데 너무너무 좋아요.
Sun Yorum's final performance mesmerized the audience with its explosive power. Her perfect performance made many believe that she would be the winner. However, she finished second.
네, 사실은 그 전까지는 한 번도 러시아에서 연주를 제대로 해본 적이 없었어요. 예, 아무래도 유럽하고 또 미국하고는 또 다른 곳이어서 그런 약간 제가 커리어가 없었는데 차이콥스키 콩쿠르 이후로는 한 1년에 그래도 2번 정도는 꾸준히 오고 있어요. 콩쿠르는 정말 하나의 과정 중에 하나에 불과하고 본인이 어떻게 받아들이냐에 따라서 의미가 정말 천차만별이 될 수 있기 때문에 혹시나 실망하셨더라도 전혀 실망하실 일이 아니라는 것을 꼭 아셨으면 좋겠고 이번에 특히 이 인터넷으로 생중계가 됐잖아요.
네.
그래서 너무 많은 사람들이 1,000만 명 이상이 그걸 봤다고 해요. 그러니까 아무리 결과가 마음에 안 들었다고 해도 그걸 본 분들 중에 정말 많은 팬들을 얻으셨을 테니까 힘을 내셨으면 좋겠습니다.
만약 2등하면 1등이겠구나라고 생각을 했었어요. 실질적으로. 네, 그 정도로 그 1등을 한다는 것은 사실은 쉬운 일이 아니었고요. 네. 우리나라 그 진출자가 그런 큰 콩쿠르에 가서 그런 아주 진짜 상위 입상을 할 수 있었다는 것은 앞으로도 이제 그런 일이 많이 나오고 1등 수상자가 나올 거를 바라긴 해야 되겠지만 쉽게 우리가 볼 수 있는 그런 그 결과는 아니었을 거라고 생각을 했었습니다.
With the Tchaikovsky competition, the iron barrier was taken down, and teachers at former socialist educational organizations were replaced with their students and competition winners. After several generation shifts, the world that was previously divided into them and us became one. Above all, contestants who entered the competition regardless of the outcome were considered to be the best of the best. The Bolshoi Hall is where the first round of the piano competition was held. This place bears numerous traces of Tchaikovsky. Performing in this concert hall, even if it's not a competition, is the dream of any musician. Even Sergei Redkin, who is usually very composed, can't help being nervous. In the first round, contestants must perform for 40 to 50 minutes. They must play one of Tchaikovsky's compositions, as well as compositions by Bach, Chopin, or Liszt. It's like watching solo concerts rather than a competition. The jury and the audience become engrossed in the music.
I think it's safe to say that I would be looking, at least, for someone who actually has something convincing to say about the music they're playing. We assume the technique. If you haven't got the technique to play, you shouldn't be in the competition, and it will be found out very quickly. To be yourself is very important, and to be honest and open and musically convinced and convincing of what you want to say, rather than trying to fit what you expect the jury to want, because you can't do that. You can't anticipate that. It's democracy anyway. How can you possibly imagine you can please everyone? You can't.
Pianist Son Jong-bom is known as an honest performer who plays with utter accuracy. Unfortunately, he failed to advance into the second round.
It's a challenge. It's like, but I try to think of it as playing a concert tour and not just like a competition. I just trying to make music and try to play a beautiful concert.
From day one, the competition in the piano category was like a fierce battle with unpredictable outcomes. Former competition winner Alexander Lubyanchev failed to pass the initial audition. Andrei Korebenikov, whose live online performance drew a record number of viewers, was eliminated in the first round. The saddest thing was that none of the Korean pianists made the cut into the second round. Nonetheless, the atmosphere in the first two rounds remained highly competitive.
Официальному туру предшествовал столь же серьезный и большой отборочный тур. И те члены жюри, несколько членов жюри, в том числе и мне вот выпала такая доля. Мы сидели несколько дней до конкурса, и для нас тот первый тур, неофициальный, оказался, в общем, не менее интересным, потому что много было очень достойных кандидатов, но жюри тут жестко ограничено количеством самих участников первого тура, второго и, конечно же, третьего. Для меня на этом конкурсе больше сильных участников, чем было реально пропустить.
Meanwhile, the first round of the violin competition had also begun.
저 같은 경우는 항상 콩쿨 1차를 제일 힘들어 하는데요. 항상 열심히 한다고 해서 이게 뭐 무대에서 어떻게 되는지 모르는 일이니까 항상 너무 제일 많이 긴장하는 라운드고 제일 무서워하고 무대에 나가는 게 두렵고 항상 그랬던 것 같아요. 근데 오늘도 뭐 아니나 다를까 기대에 전혀 못 미치게 했던 것 같고요. 제 스스로한테는 뭐 일단 결과를 기다려봐야죠.
Я помню, когда я играл первый тур, начал играть адажио Баха, и у меня смычок, я взял аккорд, и смычок пошел вот так вот от волнения, понимаете, просто задрожала рука. Но потом я собрался и доиграл до конца и получил от всех членов жюри 25 баллов. Вот это вот надо тоже, это очень важно на конкурсе, очень важно. И плюс, самое главное, это предельное внимание ко всему, что ты делаешь.
Round 2, which is tantamount to the semi-finals, consists of two stages. In stage 1, contestants must perform solo for 50 to 60 minutes. In stage 2, they must play one of Mozart's concertos along with a chamber orchestra. It's an opportunity for the contestants to show off their skills because they can choose any composition they want.
여기 레퍼토리가 굉장히 많아요. 그래서 그냥 저 연주자로서 레퍼토리 더 많이 배우고 싶다는 생각에서 신청을 한 것도 있고 또 여기서 하면서 굉장히 많이 배우는 것 같아요. 그리고 또 무엇보다도 그 심사위원 선생님들이 너무 유명하신 분들이 많이 오셔서 이번 회에 막 연주자분들이 원래 심사 잘 안 하시는 분들이 많이 오셨거든요.
After the first two rounds packed with fierce competition, the finalists were determined. 6 contestants have advanced into the finals. Among them were Clara Jumi Kang and Kim Bomsori, raising hope that they would be able to win prizes. Evaluations and jury deliberations were particularly intense in the piano category. More contestants advanced into the first round than allowed by the rules, so 2/3 of them had to be eliminated in the second round. About 650 kilometers to the northwest of Moscow is St. Petersburg, which is located on the Neva River. It's a canal city where more than 100 islets are connected with some 400 bridges. A ferry ride reveals an endless array of beautiful cathedrals and palaces lining up the riverbanks. Nevsky Prospect bears the traces of many great Russian writers. It's easy to see artists here, which is the heart of Russian culture and art. The Emerald Winter Palace features elegant grandeur. The gigantic dome of St. Isaac's Cathedral looks impressive. Built as a party venue by Peter the Great, who founded St. Petersburg, the Summer Palace represents the thriving period of the Russian Empire. To the east of Nevsky Prospect, there is a cemetery where prominent Russian people rest in peace. One of the tombs catches the eye first. It belongs to Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky. The first student to enroll in the St. Petersburg State Conservatory, founded by Anton Rubinstein, was also Tchaikovsky.
A great part of his life and his last days of Tchaikovsky, he lived here in St. Petersburg, and he composed here a couple of his most wonderful symphonies. The Sixth Symphony was shortly premiered before his death. So St. Petersburg also is a very important part of Tchaikovsky's life, and this is probably the reason for that the competition was divided.
The first and second rounds of the cello competition took place at the Philharmonia and Mariinsky Theater in St. Petersburg. Although there were few Koreans among the contestants, there was a Korean cellist among the jury members. It was Professor Chung Myung-hwa.
딴 데 콩쿠르에 가면 파이널까지도 올라갈 사람들이 많이 떨어졌어요. 왜냐면 너무 잘하는 사람들이 많이 왔고, 그래서 사실 심사위원으로서는 너무 잘하는 사람들 많이 오니까 듣긴 너무 좋아요. 그러니까 너무 그냥 아주 젊은 사람들 너무 잘하고 있으니까, 그렇지만 항상 이렇게 잘라야 될 때 그때 마음이 굉장히 아파요.
Each time has differences, yeah. Because level of young people is now very, very high, and they have in this program that kind of programming changed also. Before, in our time, was a little bit more program that was you must play, yeah. And in this time now there are two recitals where you many pieces you can choose what you want, yeah. And there's this possibility to also to unusual program, unusual programming, not expected programming. Maybe some people choose more virtuoso pieces because the level of cello playing is higher.
The most noteworthy Korean contestant was Kang Sung-min. She encountered many obstacles, but she maintained her calm in the main competition.
이제야 스타팅 라인에 섰다는 생각이 들었고요. 많이 준비하면서 일단 제 파트너 타무라 케이코 너무 고맙고 나이도 저희 보다 나이가 많은데 이렇게 따라 저랑 같이 파트를 너무너무 감사하고.
John Henry Crawford from the US is a talented cellist who enrolled in the Curtis Institute of Music when he was just 15.
If you happen to win or something, I think that's just the beginning, because then you have to develop a career. I mean, it's great because if you winning competitions and getting prizes can get you recognition, can get you recognized, but that alone doesn't guarantee a career for many years afterwards. There are many prize winners who've won and then you don't hear about again for the rest of their lives, and then there are many who get third or fourth or fifth, and you hear about them all the time. So it's almost random, it seems. It's up to you, I think, a lot.
Being able to perform with an orchestra also appeals to the young contestants.
When they will play with the orchestra, if jury members would be impressed from orchestra playing only, or they will think, maybe orchestra was not so good, but recital was so fantastic. Yeah. But I think that we are all musicians, and we know how important both parts are, and we are looking just for people who must come to the final, who will satisfy us, in the finals. Yes.
The factor all of the contestants were most excited about was having the opportunity to perform in front of globally recognized musicians.
Yes, doesn't matter in front of whom, and to have chance to play on stage in front of people, to share everything what you love and know and understand about great music with people who love music. Although, of course, when I was 18 years old and played in Tchaikovsky competition in 1966, and played in front of not only Rostropovich, but Pitigorsky, Fournier, Casado, and people like this, I also was very excited. Yes,
Finding gemstones to compete in the finals among these talented cellists representing their countries was no easy task. After much deliberation, the jury selected 6 contestants. One of them was Kang Seung-min. Meanwhile, in the Mussorgsky Hall of the Mariinsky Theater 2, the first and second rounds of the voice category were in full swing. Korean contestants in the voice category stood out more than in other categories. Voice and performing skills are not the only factors that the jury takes into account. They also pay attention to the contestants' facial expressions and gestures on stage.
Делать музыку, не стараться победить, не стараться покорять, не стараться делать просто музыку, думать о музыке и не о себе, думать о том, что ты делаешь на сцене, для чего ты вышел. Всегда и в спектаклях, и на концертах, и в конкурсах. Это очень важно, это сразу очень видно.
Vocal music is performed with the only instrument humans have in their bodies, their voice. That's why using the right techniques and expressive abilities for your voice are crucial. Of the many Korean opera singers who aspired to enter the finals, only Yoo Han-sung advanced into the finals.
피아노, 바이올린, 첼로, 성악 이렇게 모두 네 부분으로 이루어지는 차이콥스키 국제 콩쿠르. 이제 결선 진출자들이 가려졌는데요. 결선 진출자들 중에서 입상자가 나오면 바로 세계적인 무대에서 공연할 수 있게 됩니다. 바로 이곳 마린스키 극장도 그 중에 한 곳인데요. 자, 과연 어떤 결선이 펼쳐질지 기대하면서 함께 지켜보도록 하겠습니다.
The Tchaikovsky competition brings together not only the most talented contestants, but also the best audience in the world. While the jury members are concentrated on performances, the audience tries to predict the winner. The staff at the Tchaikovsky competition is said to have the most accurate ear because they have watched the competition for decades. One of them is this woman named Tatiana.
Я не музыкант, мне трудно оценить уровень. Но вот эмоционального большого всплеска пока нет. Пока нет.
И мы следим и за лауреатами конкурса, в особенности за 14-м конкурсом, в котором победил Даниил Трифонов. И он великолепен, всегда великолепен во всех своих выступлениях. У него были сольные концерты здесь, в зале консерватории и в зале Чайковского. И мы всегда аплодируем ему, говорим «Браво, браво!».
In the finals, the contestants must perform perfectly with an orchestra. That's why the conductor feels enormous pressure.
Это очень большая ответственность, потому что для них, возможно, решается судьба сейчас в какой-то степени. Но с тем же выступление должно быть все-таки живым. Поэтому найти хороший баланс между вдохновением и какой-то конкурсной игрой – это очень непросто. Мы вот стараемся с каждым из них быть в хорошем контакте.
The final step towards selecting the winner among the 6 finalists has begun.
I wanted to go through this pressure. And if nothing happens, I don't win anything, or I get lower prize, or I don't pass, it's fine. Life goes on, but that's a good checkup, myself. I hear also other people sometimes, and it's just good motivation and a lot of energy you need for that,
слезы льют моей защиты, умоляю.
영광입니다. 정말 여기까지 올라오리라고 정말 생각도 못했는데 저에게 이렇게 너무나 큰 기회를 주셔서 너무나 감사하고 너무나 많은 분들이 관심을 가져주셨고 또 네, 제가 성장하는 데 너무나 큰 힘이 될 것 같습니다.
Можете убийственной войны, укрепишь нас научены исправить.
Я считаю, что это, наверное, один из главных конкурсов в жизни музыкантов, любого музыканта, который бы хотел что-то достичь в своей карьере. И это огромное начало и возможность, конечно же.
Да.
퀸 엘리자베스랑 거의 겹치는 바람에 그리고 사실 퀸 할 때까지만 해도 차이콥스키는 이제 안 나가도 되겠다 이렇게 생각하고 있었는데 끝나고 나니까 뭔가 뭐든지 할 수 있을 것 같은 거예요. 그래서 이번에 도전했는데 이렇게 파이널까지 와서 너무 다행이고 네, 감사해요.
The finals of the piano category was the most spectacular in the history of the Tchaikovsky competition.
Unbelievable experience for me. I think that's basically the biggest reason why I want to come here, just to play for people and just to touch people's hearts with my music, or try to at least. Yeah. I mean, I don't care what I get. It's great if I get first or second, whatever.
разных стилей. Это фейерверк, это фонтан, это калейдоскоп. Вот. Но для меня, что сказать, конкурс Чайковского, это как для любого москвича, пианиста, это просто верх мечтаний. Поэтому,
Надежда,
да.
правда.
Борьба с самим собой.
юбилейного 15-го международного конкурса имени Петра Ильича Чайковского.
Hyu Han-sun, South Korea.
Yoo Han-sung was the only Korean in the voice category to receive a prize. In the cello category, Kang Sung-min finished 5th.
Sponsor Kim, South Korea.
Clara Jumikan, Germany.
In the violin category, Clara Jumi-kang and Kim Bom-sori finished 4th and 5th respectively.
Dmitry Maslev is the winner in piano competition, gold medal.
Although the outcome was not as successful as it was 4 years ago, it was meaningful because many Korean contestants made it to the finals.
똑같이 연주를 한 번 더 똑같은 방법으로 똑같은 수준으로 연주를 하고 심사위원을 전부 다 다른 분으로 해서 했다면 아마 그 결과가 같을 수 있는 경우가 얼마나 될까. 지난번 그 차이콥스키 끝나고 아마 이 내부적으로 굉장히 놀랐을 거예요. 한국 아이들이 너무 많이 그 입상을 하고 그랬기 때문에라도 이번에는 특히 더 조금 자국 진출자들이 조금 잘했으면 좋겠다.
The 15th International Tchaikovsky Competition ended successfully with the whole world watching it. It set world records in the history of international competitions by being broadcasted live in 10,352 cities worldwide, with more than 10 million viewers in 179 countries.
Everybody could see it in Korea and in China, in Europe and everywhere. It was really a fantastic event, and I think that all spectators could see the quality of the contestants. And of course, the competition was special because of the 175th birthday of Tchaikovsky, which was a very special event. And for the Russians, who are a very emotional population, this is a very, very important thing because they cherish a lot their cultural heritage, which is really fantastic. Tchaikovsky is one of the big cultural export articles of Russia. And this competition, you have yesterday seen Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin, the president of the state himself, came to give status to everything, to give reputation, and it's really fantastic. It gets a lot of attraction in Russia and abroad, of course.
15-го международного конкурса Чайковского будет большим и радостным событием для всех.
The Tchaikovsky competition is highly lauded globally thanks to the efforts of the co-chair of the organizing committee, Valery Gergiev, who is widely recognized as a pioneer of management in music.
그 게르기예프가 의장을 맡으면서 가장 혁신적으로 변한 형식이라고 말할 수 있는 것은 바로 이 콩쿠르 전반, 처음 이제 예선서부터 결선, 그다음에 나중에 갈라 콘서트까지 모두를 TV를 통해서 온라인을 통해서 전 세계에 생중계된다는 점이 있고요. 콩쿠르에서 입상한 젊은 연주자들과 함께 게르기예프라는 이 명성을 가진 지휘자가 자기가 세계 여행을 같이 다니면서 연주 여행을 다닌다는 점입니다. 그 사람들을 적극적으로 이 프로 연주 무대에 데뷔시킬 수 있는 그런 영향력을 게르기예프가 발휘해 준다는 점에 있어서 굉장히 고무적인 그러한 콩쿠르 시스템이라고 할 수 있습니다.
The goal of the Tchaikovsky competition is not just to unearth talented musicians. It's a national festival that brings together renowned musicians from all over the world to witness the growth of young artists and encourage them. After receiving the spotlight at the competition, young artists can perform with more confidence on the global stage and build a new future. That's the reason so many musicians are eager to compete in the Tchaikovsky competition, while the world can't wait to see the next great master in the world of music.